The ocean can invoke the sense of wonder as well as fear. Given the fact that we have fully explored but only a small fraction of it, it's not at all surprising. And with that said, a lot of things have been fished from its depths that are strange, sometimes even downright scary. From humongous squids to severed limb from a mythical creatures, these are things nobody was supposed to see. Colossal calamari. This first entry may be more than a decade old, but this catch was so epic, nothing even remotely like it has been caught since. Back in 2007, fishermen in New Zealand caught a colossal squid. Two things make this catch significant. First is the fact that very few colossal squids have been caught before. To date, only 12 complete specimens have been caught. And second, this New Zealand catch is the largest of them all. And although we don't have measurements, this thing weighed 450 kilograms and had eyes the size of dinner plates. The squid was caught by accident. The fishermen were fishing for toothfish when the squid found the prospect of a free meal irresistible. It wrapped itself around one of the fishing lines to gorge on one of the toothfish and was pulled on board. The squid was so large, it took a full 2 hours for the men to pull it on board. The specimen was then quickly put on ice and sent to New Zealand's National Museum, and has been a valuable source of knowledge ever since, giving us more information about one of the most elusive denizens of the deep sea. Dusky Cyclops. The dusky shark is one of the most heavily fished sharks in the world and is valuable for their fins, meat, and liver oil. They are pretty common and can be found worldwide, but one specimen caught off the coast of California was far from common. Okay, let me back up here a bit. The shark that was caught was pretty much normal, aside from being pregnant. But what was inside it was nothing short of amazing. What's inside her was an albino fetal shark. Not only that, it only had one eye. It was literally a cyclops. When photos of the shark first surfaced, many people dismissed it for being fake. I mean, who could blame them? But all the doubts were quickly cast aside when scientists made a statement confirming that everything was 100% legit. The shark clearly had albinism, but it also suffered from a condition called cyclopia, resulting in one large and pretty much useless eye. According to scientists, the shark would have been blind at birth, but they also had doubts about whether the fetus would have survived outside the womb. The 22-inch cyclops was kept by the fisherman who caught it, but something tells me Ripley's Believe It or Not would have gladly taken it off his hands. A cow of a sunfish. Alright, so this fish wasn't technically caught, but it is so unusual, I just had to tell you guys about it. Back in December 2021, fishermen spotted something floating on the water just off the coast of Faial Island in Portugal. They had no idea what it was, so they contacted marine biologist Jose Nuno Gomes Pereira to investigate. What he found was truly a one-of-a-kind fish that was rarely ever seen. The fish in question was an extremely large Mola alexandrini, more commonly known as the bumphead sunfish. These fish hold the record for being the largest bony fish in the world, achieving lengths of over 3 meters and weighing more than 2,000 kilograms. This species also had a distinct bump on its forehead and chin, which is where its name comes from. Now, the fish found by Pereira was far from average. This was the largest and the heaviest sunfish ever seen. It measured 3.25 meters long, 3.59 meters high, and weighed an outstanding 2,744 kilograms. This specimen was more than 400 kilograms heavier than the previous record holder for the heaviest bony fish, another sunfish that was caught in Japan in 1996. The white stuff. When you go out fishing, you expect to catch fish. Well, 2 fishermen went out to fish one fine day in June 2019, hoping for the catch of a lifetime. They did catch something epic, but it, unfortunately, wasn't fish. While out at sea, they spotted something unusual floating on the surface of the water. It was a package, wrapped in black plastic, and weighed around 50 kilograms. Curious, they fished it out and opened it, and lo and behold, they found something that someone didn't want them, or the authorities to see: cocaine. Of course, the 2 fishermen quickly informed the authorities about their fishy catch, and the DEA took possession of the illegal contraband. According to them, the coke had an estimated street value of between $750,000 to $1 million. According to the fishermen, They noticed the package because they saw a mahi-mahi fish jumping near it. So before they fished out the package, they used the place where the package was as a fishing spot and caught a lot of fish. The accidental catch. Most fishermen spend hours trying to find fish, and when they do find one, they spend a few more hours trying to haul it in, especially the big ones. But fishermen on a fishing trip in Long Island, New York back in 2017 didn't have to work that much. The fish literally jumped into their boat. According to Don Law, the captain of the boat, they were just cruising along to their next destination when this mako shark suddenly jumped out of the water onto their boat. The shark would have gone straight back into the water, but there was one small problem. It got stuck in the boat's railings because of its dorsal fin. It flailed around furiously, trying to get loose, but to no avail. Fortunately for the shark, the men on the boat weren't about to leave it to its unfortunate fate. The crew placed a rope around the base of the shark's caudal fin and hooked its head with a fishing line to keep it facing the water and away from them. They then squeezed the shark's dorsal fin to release him from the railings. At the end of a long struggle, the shark was freed and lowered back into the sea. The crew had performed this rescue mission in the nick of time. With blood already pouring out of the shark's mouth, the shark probably wouldn't have survived another hour. Put a ring on it. Now here's a fishing mystery that took the internet by storm. Back in 2019, while on a fishing tournament, fisherman Joe Pinar caught a strange-looking steelhead fish while out fishing for trout. No, it wasn't deformed or mutated in any way, shape, or form, but it had something really weird attached to its tail, a wedding ring. The ring was fastened securely to the fish's tail with a zip tie, so it was clear that someone intentionally put it there. But why, though? Well, it didn't take long for this mystery to be solved. As it turns out, the ring belonged, or rather once belonged, to Jason Rose. Rose, who was a fishing guide, had just recently gone through a divorce after being married for nearly a decade. According to Rose, his ex-wife was mad at him and hated the fact that he was fishing so much. Rose kept the ring for 4 years after his divorce, and it made his life miserable. He was completely convinced that the ring was cursed. Rose further stated that his life has gotten a whole lot better when he sent his ring to swim with the fishes. And in case you were wondering, no, he didn't want the ring back. Blue lobster. Nope, I'm not talking about a sad lobster. This thing was literally blue. Caught off the coast of Portland, Maine, this rare blue lobster. This blue lobster is so extremely rare, the chances of actually catching one is 1 in 2 million. Even so, people have caught blue lobsters in the past. Back in 2020, one was almost cooked at a Red Lobster restaurant in 2020. This little blue guy, however, was spared the pot. It was given to a local zoo and was given the name Claude. Blue lobsters are not an entirely different species from your regular old brown lobsters. They do, however, are born with a genetic defect that results in them producing more of a specific type of protein that turns their shells blue. When cooked, their shells turn to the familiar orange that we all know. Now here's the thing. Some lobsters are even rarer than this blue guy. There exist live lobsters that are colored orange, even when uncooked, and the chances of you catching one is 1 in 10 million. Mutant wolffish? 2011's. Fukushima nuclear disaster in Japan was one of the worst things to happen in that decade, and its effects can still be felt today. In that neck of the woods, particularly the part of the ocean there has been contaminated by so much radioactive material, it will take decades for everything to go back to normal. And of course, where there's radiation, there are mutations. That's why, when this monster of a wolffish was caught near the contaminated area in 2015, it quickly went viral. These giants of the deep are already large and ferocious looking, growing to an average of 1.2 meters long. However, the one caught by fisherman Hiroshi Hirasaka was measured to be over 2 meters long. When photos of the fish were posted on Twitter, people were astounded, and when they found out where the fish was caught, quickly concluded that the fish's unusual size was because the radiation from the nuclear disaster somehow mutated it. Scientists, however, were quick to say no. While they admitted that animals were mutation from the radiation, they also said that instead of getting bigger, fish in the area were noticeably getting smaller. They further stated that wolffish can grow for as long as they are alive, so this monster fish was probably just older than average. So, if you're expecting some Godzilla-like monster popping out of Japan's oceans anytime soon, prepare to be disappointed. A mermaid's arm. I'm going to leave you with some controversial footage, and when you see it, just make sure to take it with a grain of salt, because although the video was posted on TikTok in 2022, there's no way to find out when or even where it was taken. So again, a pinch of salt. This blurry footage shows a group of fishermen hauling in a net. But aside from the usual fish that they expected to catch, they saw something weird, even terrifying. In the net was a severed arm, but instead of a normal hand, it ended with a webbed hand. Some people who saw this video say that this could be conclusive evidence that mermaids do exist. That should be easy to prove. Just give the arm to scientists and have them examine it, right? Well, not quite. According to the story accompanying the video, the fisherman dropped the arm back into the ocean, denying scientists what arguably is the discovery of a lifetime. I think this whole thing is sketchy, but what do you think? Is this conclusive proof that mermaids do live in the world's oceans? Let us know in the comments. See you guys next time.